and you could not for the life of you order any kind of gym equipment. Like if you wanted a bench and some dumbbells, nah. Like unless you pre-ordered way in advance or paid hundreds if not thousands of pounds, you were not getting gym equipment online. Hey guys, my name is Peter. I'm a physiotherapy student within the UK, and today I'm talking about the 3 phases in my life in relation to exercise. Here we go. The first phase of my life is the playful child. This is a stage where, when you're like a toddler, for example, you exercise with your parents if you just run around the garden. When you get to school, you have physical education, and then you'll exercise then. You might play football in the evenings with your friends. But exercise just kind of sort of happened. It is literally ingrained in your curriculum at school, and you're just always running around all the time because you have so much energy as a kid. But then moving on, for me specifically, I got to phase 2, which is the majority of this video, where I'm going to title it as the Swole teenager. So for people that don't know, the term swole is kind of like a meme social media term where it's basically just being hench, it's being really big and putting on muscle. For me personally, I've always been kind of skinny and slim. I had a fast metabolism, and there's been times in my life where I've kind of filled out. But the difference is that even though I was skinny as a kid and as a teenager, the difference is that when you become a teenager, you're so much more aware of your insecurities and how you fit into a social environment in general. In short, between the ages of around 12 to 20, I was very motivated to put on muscle for a variety of reasons. First off, I grew up seeing guys, or should I say seeing girls, give guys lots of attention because they were filling out, they were maturing, they were putting on muscle. This wouldn't really impact me now, but it's something that when I was a lot more unconfident and I didn't really have as much self-esteem, it's something that I definitely used to think about and be more observant of. Secondly, I grew up with a dad who was very motivated to go to the gym. He was a builder for his actual job as well, so he was always in pretty good shape and pretty filled out. And some of the things that he would tell me, he would say stuff like, oh, it's not how fit you are, it's how you look, or it's not how strong you are, it's how you look, more the latter really. And whilst a lot of athletes would disagree with that opinion, this is the kind of stuff that I was told growing up. Thirdly, at school, one of the biggest sports that I used to play is rugby, and if you're not familiar with rugby, it's kind of like American football, where assuming your cardiovascular system is developed, being as big and strong as possible makes you a better player in some respects. So in that regard, I wanted to logically be better at rugby, so that gave me even more motivation to try and put on size and strength. Fourthly, in regards to me specifically in my mental state, I grew up really struggling with self-esteem and confidence and a lot of these related issues. And from my experience, when someone is really insecure, they feel like they have something to prove, like they need to show that they're good at something and tell people about it. I needed to show that I was muscly and masculine and big, when really, even though it makes you more desirable as a partner, for example, and people might be more attracted to you from an evolutionary basis. Apologies for people that don't believe in Darwinism. Being bigger and more muscly shouldn't really impact you as a person and how much value you bring and really your character. But in my head, I put a lot of emphasis on being bigger because being skinny is something, again, I was just quite insecure about growing up. Additionally, growing up, there was the birth of social media. Between the ages of 12 to 20, that's when, kind of Facebook was already there, but stuff like Instagram was really kicking off. And a lot of people are aware that Instagram is not healthy for you in a lot of ways. The internet is good because it helps people connect with one another, but it's really bad in regards to comparison, because I don't know who said it, I think it was Eisenhower, but someone said that comparison is the thief of joy, and that really is relevant in regards to Instagram, social media and stuff like that. I know a lot of girls struggle with this from my experience of speaking to girls in regards to seeing girls that are more skinny, or they might just look more beautiful, attractive, and then girls compare themselves to that person, when actually that's logically not what they look like. They might have edited the photo or God knows what else. But this is actually relevant for guys as well, because whether it is directly or indirectly, Instagram makes you feel like being bigger and stronger and more shredded is better. And as well as Instagram, YouTube as well. Like when I was growing up, I was watching, Mike Chang's six-pack shortcuts. I was watching Elliot Hulse. I was watching Jeff Nippard and Mike Thurston and Matt Does Fitness and etc, etc, etc. So growing up, the social media landscape was something that was very new to a lot of people, and they didn't really know how to deal with it. There's more awareness about this kind of stuff growing up, and how social media might give people body dysmorphia and anxiety and a lot of other issues. But I feel like this is an extremely important thing to make, or important point to make, in regards to people's mental health, and also specifically with people's anxiety or comparison issues with their body image. Furthermore, I went to university and I did a sport and exercise science degree. So the majority of people around me were like gym lads, and they wanted to put on weight and size. And because I had a car, I had my own schedule, and I was taught in my degree how to get in fit, including hypertrophy or putting on muscle. I had the time, dedication, and means to put a lot of time towards going to the gym. And to be honest, there were points in my life where I think at one point I got to like 105 kilograms, which so that, even if I'm 6'4", that's still like quite heavy. And for me to achieve that weight, because my metabolism is so fast, I was having a disgusting amount of calories, and just not like bad calories, like sugar and just rubbish in my diet. I honestly don't know how I didn't get diabetes around this time. But going back to what I said before, I did this mainly due to unhealthy reasons of wanting to fill out and get bigger. So taking all of that into account, I've kind of changed to like my third phase, which I will call the versatile adult. Towards the end of uni, COVID came, and it was very stressful, as you can imagine. You could not go to the gym, and you could not for the life of you order any kind of gym equipment. Like if you wanted a bench and some dumbbells, nah. Like unless you pre-ordered way in advance or paid hundreds if not thousands of pounds, you were not getting gym equipment online. So like a balloon, I just deflated, and eventually I was just a bag of skin and stretch marks, which doesn't sound very nice really. The silver lining with COVID, and I feel like this is a silver lining for many people, with more free time, I also got more time to reflect on who I wanted to be, what value I brought in my life, the life that I want to live, why do I do the things that I do. And not to kind of give you an existential crisis from looking at this video, but one of these things that I realized was completely out of whack was why I exercise. My insecurity with my body image is not the only reason. Like I actually genuinely enjoy exercise. It's one of the reasons why I wanted to be a strength and conditioning coach. But I'll be lying if I said it wasn't a big factor. So for anyone watching this video, an actual takeaway tip is the difference between intrinsic and extrinsic motivation. I might butcher this a little bit because it's been a while since I covered this on my degree, but essentially extrinsic motivation is when you are more motivated by goals, but more related to money or prestige or the opinion in which other people have on you. But intrinsic motivation is more related to, do you actually enjoy the activity that you're doing? Does it give you purpose? And do you enjoy the feeling of improving by 1% every single day or week or month? Now, if you're more extrinsically motivated, it's not the end of the world. Both motivation types are good if they enable you to improve your life in healthier ways. But from my experience and from reading the scientific literature around psychology, because I've read a lot around sport and exercise psychology for my degree, it seems to be intrinsic motivation is a lot more reliable than extrinsic. So asking yourself, do you actually enjoy the activity that you're doing, or are you doing it just to prove something to someone else? I feel like those kind of questions are really important to ask yourself. However, now I have got to the point where my confidence and self-esteem is so much better, and I feel like that almost everything I do in my life isn't just instant gratification. It actually serves a purpose, it makes me feel more fulfilled, and it actually contributes to either my career prospects, my mental health, or my physical health. Yes, once I've recovered from my injury, which I have costochondritis in case you were wondering, from jiu-jitsu, once I'm recovered, yes, I will pick up weightlifting again. And yes, logically, filling out will improve my confidence. But largely, I'll be doing it now, I'd like to think so, because I enjoy it, and also because of my awareness of how good it is for mental and physical health. Now, I view weightlifting as being just as important as cardiovascular training. That doesn't mean that I like running though. I absolutely hate running. I prefer cardiovascular training in the form of martial arts or team sports like football, for example, or rugby. But I have a much more overall view on fitness and what things I need to try to achieve and focus on in regards to my fitness goals. Especially as you get older, it's so important to reduce stuff like sarcopenia and osteoporosis, which essentially is when you have reduced function and strength in bones and muscles. And so doing stuff like weightlifting is really important to kind of reduce these as you get older. If there's anything that you can kind of take away from this video, it's that exercising should never be a cause of bad mental health. You are not defined by the shape of your body. Yes, being fit and healthy is an important pillar of life, but what matters so much more is your character and the values that you stand for as a person. If you want to get into weightlifting, I would say one of the best channels for you to watch is a channel by Jeff Nippard. He is one of the best YouTubers I know in the fitness space, especially regarding building strength and size. So if you do want to get into weightlifting and you're not really sure about what you should do and how you should train, definitely check out his channel. I'll probably link it somewhere down below in the description. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you took away some practical tips or even theoretical tips. If you want to know about my journey with reading and how I learned to love reading, I will link it somewhere in this video. Other than that, thanks for watching, and I'll see you there. Adios, amigos.